Hello everyone, welcome to another video. You know the video I popped out the other day regarding Eugenia getting bullied into getting help? Yeah, well, Belle Aubrey has got a beautiful response for us all today that we need to see. Because I laughed myself into a bloody seizure, mate, with how delusional this woman is. The fact we have many channels now that have come out, and even some creators apologising about the misinformation being spread. Well, Belle over here is literally sat here defending herself still. Like she's actually qualified about mental joke. I just want to clear a few things up though, because I'm seeing a lot of people confused. When I say that these people want to deplatform someone for simply having an ED, that's what it mainly boils down to. When you strip back the lies, the misinformation, and the fact that you're blaming someone for other people's mental. Eugenia is out here giving everyone EDs apparently. Since when do you blame the victim? That's like saying you're an alcoholic because you live next door to a pub. It's not the pub's fault. Again, I go back to my original stance when I say there is no education for young people. So instead of advocating for the removal of a victim in this stance, advocate for actual change. I brought this up in my last video. I didn't know I had an ED until this year, and I've had one for 12 years. I had no idea it was even a thing. I just thought I didn't like food. Eugenia isn't responsible for others' mental health. That is so toxic to put on someone. These people really bore my blood, because when you look at this, has the highest mortality rate of any mental health disorder, where 1 in 5 people take their own. And this is how you treat someone, is it? Absolutely disgusting. I had training in mental health when I trained as a nurse, and I cannot believe what I'm seeing. You cannot bully someone or force someone into getting help, or even hold leverage about deplatforming them. Do you know why? Because they will see getting help as a negative thing. These videos on her are literally harming her more than helping. So when I see her saying she cares about Eugenia, be fucking honest, yeah? Obviously this topic is really close to home for me, so I do get very emotional, as you probably can tell. But anyways, now I got that off my chest, let's give this a watch. I'm hoping that she's gonna bring up all the arguments and just debunk us all, because I will admit, if I'm wrong about something, I will hold my hands up. Let's go.
So recently, as I'm sure a lot of you are already aware, there's a creator who made a video regarding my stance on Eugenia's content either getting removed or age restricted in order to protect children and minors from the dangers of pro-Ana and Thinspo content.
Off to a great start, pro-Ana content. Thinspo, where is it then? You could literally shut us all down right now if you just shown proof. Stop saying your opinion as if it's a fact. You are making Eugenia associated with this content. Not her herself. People like me, I didn't even know this sort of thing existed. So I get why her audience is sat here reciting this. Because Belle over here has put it in their heads. Not Eugenia. You're linking two things that aren't provably linked, just to prove a point that's not even there in the first place.
This creator went out of his way to paint me in the literal worst light that he possibly could. Like, I started watching the video and there was zero objectivity. There was no mention of why I might have the stance that I had, and I remember thinking as I was watching that this was not an objective critique or audit as he was trying to frame it. This was literally a hit piece meant to smear me as much as he possibly could.
It's not nice when it's aimed at you, is it? No, it's a hit piece. Oh, for fuck's sake. WillyMac's video was 100 times more objective than your whole channel, love. Believe it or not, it's not hard to find. There are a lot of people out here questioning other topics that this chick has covered. I do have a whole folder. Basically, you've proven your point is not worth listening to when you're out here making up information about Eugenia's parents and the pro-Ana and Thinspo content. While we're on the topic of Eugenia's parents, this is what she had to say.
This creator also tried to use the point that one time another YouTuber stayed with Eugenia for a couple days. It is so obvious that when someone has someone staying with them, they're going to put their best foot forward and they're not going to show any obvious signs of abuse. That does not prove that there is no abuse going on in that situation. It just means that for a couple days, they have to act like normal people. Like, this isn't really even worth going into. Like, this is so ridiculous, it's barely even a point.
I just want to put this in it because I think it's fucking hilarious. Oh my god, this is so embarrassing. What are you... what was the point? You shouldn't have even mentioned it, to be honest. You just made yourself look like a right fanny. And also, just changing topic, because I do this constantly because of my ADHD. She literally said in one of her videos that Eugenia is sending body checking signals. Talk about reaching, yeah?
It is extremely restricted on social media to be outwardly promoting. You can't do that. You can't come out and actively say, hey, you should eat less than X amount of calories per day and exercise this many times per week if you want to lose weight and be skinny and look like me. You can't do that on social media. They're going to censor that content because that is obviously promoting. However, what you can do is you can use signals. You can use signifiers.
She clearly knows everyone's intentions, because apparently, according to Belle, I don't have an ED. Because Belle knows me.
But it's a completely separate thing to try to completely disparage the individual who has the opposing viewpoint, while also trying to villainize them at every turn. And that's exactly what this guy tried to do in his video.
So hypocritical. Could say the same thing about yous. Except the difference is you didn't know when to stop. He didn't villainize. He just shut her points down. She loves to paint everyone as a bad person that doesn't have the same views. What I'm about to show you though is the most embarrassing thing I have ever seen.
So I went back and looked at some of his past work, and he literally called D'Angelo Wallace, of all people, the biggest douchebag on the internet. D'Angelo Wallace.
Can we just get to the point? This isn't about D'Angelo Wallace. Oh, what am I even watching right now? So glad I woke up this morning.
I also find it really funny because Sloan literally uses his platform. He is brave enough to use his platform to call out some of the most prolific on YouTube and in Hollywood. So how dare you call Sloan and reduce his content to just being tea?
I find it funny how you mentioned that, but obviously you left out something, clearly. But Sloan did used to do tea sorts of videos before going on to that sort of content. Again, you're clearly not showing your audience the whole picture. It's a pattern with this one, isn't it?
I also reached out on Twitter to debate this guy on the whole Eugenia Cooney Thinspo content situation, and this was the objective and intellectual response that I got. So no, I will not be debating him.
You've got me dead, son. Why did she show this? More like you couldn't debate him because you're talking out your arse. You blocked him. But I guess her way of putting it sounds better. Fair enough.
What my belief is, and what my belief always has been, is that people who weaponize their EDs in the form of Thinspo or pro-Anna content, who use it for shock value and for profit with zero regard for who they're influencing, should be removed or age restricted.
Firstly, that does not apply to Eugenia. You are yet to show us where she promotes her ED. Secondly, she has vaguely spoke about her weight and feels uncomfortable to do so. Why is this woman trying her hardest to ruin this poor girl's life? I'd love to know.
And according to YouTube's community guidelines, there's a certain amount of responsibility that comes with that influence. You'll see that there's a bunch of different ones, but if you scroll down, you'll see one that says harmful and dangerous content. And if you read through it, it says eating disorders. And YouTube agrees with me. And I know this because they took down one of my videos on Eugenia Cooney. And it wasn't like a super crazy video. It was literally just me sitting in a chair, like I always do, just responding to things that Eugenia was doing in her video. Like, it was just a video that Eugenia had done. It was like a fashion haul or something.
You're failing to realise. You were linking Eugenia to harmful content. Look at the title. Oh my gosh, this woman actually has missing brain cells now. This is so bad. She's misleading her audience yet again. If this was true, then why is Eugenia's video still up? You weren't just talking about her videos in that video. You were linking Eugenia to pro-Anna content, like the title says, which is harmful and goes against YouTube's guidelines. The only problem here is yourself, not Eugenia. And it's baffling that she cannot see that.
Why did my video on Eugenia get taken down, but Eugenia's own videos get to stay up? Now, keep in mind, the only thing that was in my video was me sitting in a chair doing some analysis on why body checking and Thinspo is bad, but Eugenia's video, which had the same content except without the disclaimers and without the educational stuff about EDs and the dangers of it, that got to stay up. The only thing that I can possibly think of is that I just don't generate the same amount of ad revenue that Eugenia does.
This is laughable. No, you're wrong. The answer is literally in your email that you're showing on screen. How is she still going on and justifying her points? It's embarrassing. YouTube does not agree with you. The whole premise of this video is yet again misleading. She's trying to twist things when it's clearly not the case. So desperate for points, she's scrambling. It's gonna take a minute to be real. This really upsets me, having gone through and having an ED for 12 years, and I see this happening. This is how we treat people. Trying so hard to destroy someone for something that isn't even her fault and hasn't even done the things that she's even saying. I have an understanding of what Eugenia is going through, and it breaks my heart, to be honest. Sorry to get all deep on yous, but the amount of times I didn't even want to be here, the amount of times I drank heavily at the age of 15 just to think about something else, and Eugenia can't even get away from hers. Honestly, it makes me worry the nonsense this woman is projecting. If anything, her content is more harmful than Eugenia's.
Now, before people who are hell-bent on trying to bring me down start going on about how it was actually me violating the bullying or harassment policy, just know that the email didn't cite the bullying or harassing policy as the reason they took my video down. Remember, the reason they took my video down was for violating the harmful or dangerous policy.
The intention is not to put you down, but in regards to that video was more harmful and dangerous rather than bullying and harassment. But apparently she got that video reinstated. Shame on YouTube for that, to be honest. Big mistake on their behalf.
I have always had the same stance on Eugenia. I have always said that I think her content should be either age restricted or removed because I think it is causing a lot of harm to people. And as someone who suffered with an ED myself, I know exactly how dangerous and insidious this disease is and how harmful Thinspo and pro-Ana content is to those who struggle with EDs or who are prone to struggle with EDs.
Where she's encouraging that. Your opinion is based off nothing. This is what people take issue with. She makes bloody makeup, gaming and clothing content. Why does that need to be age restricted? She is a human being, you know. It's so sad just seeing people define her as her ED. I don't know, if it triggers you, then do not watch it then. Maybe I'm the exception, clearly. But I do not find Eugenia's content harmful in the slightest. Maybe Belle needs to start accepting people for who they are and their flaws rather than trying to get rid of them. It's beautiful that we have all kinds of people on YouTube. Just because you can visibly see it in Eugenia means she needs to be age restricted or deplatformed.
I think that Eugenia's pro-Ana, Thinspo, shock value content that is actively harming minors in her community should be temporarily banned or age restricted on YouTube. Not only because it's harming minors and it's harming adults, but it also literally just does violate YouTube's own community guidelines.
No, you broke the guidelines. I ain't gonna sit here and repeat myself. It seems like she's lied so much about this piranha stuff. She believes it at this point. Don't know what she means by shock value. That's so degrading. If she cares so much about the kids, then stop pointing fingers at a literal victim and do something about it. Tackle the root issue here. But she isn't. This video is just basically her being defensive about everything, bringing up things that have nothing to do with the arguments people have made. I don't understand, it's meant to be a response video. Mind you, the whole fucking title's a lie. She makes so many claims in this video, but shows nothing to back up what she's saying. You have to back up what you're saying when you're talking about someone's life. I just want to bring this up because I thought it was quite interesting. Her description states the following: uploading this as a response to the recent smear video that was released regarding my stance on EC's Thinspo content. It's very easy to sit around and not take any meaningful stands on anything, but bash and drag other people down when they do. A response, I didn't hear a response. And second sentence is, that's literally what you're doing. You aren't taking any meaningful stance on anything. What you're doing is toxic and it's projecting onto others. You shut people down without even hearing them out. You make up absolute bollocks to suit your point because you can't handle seeing her on YouTube, which goes against your stance completely when you make the choice to make videos about her. And then the next claim, that triggers your ED. You do it to yourself. Stop projecting it on others. That's an issue with yourself, not Eugenia. Good Lord. But I just want to touch up on this a little bit because I thought this was quite interesting. So she has pinned a comment over here basically saying that there's another P in Eugenia's Discord server, but I'm not really going to speak on that too much because yet again she's provided nothing to back up anything ever whatsoever, so I'm on a very thin line believing what she says. This whole video just seemed like an attack on Eugenia rather than a response to WillyMac. Let me know down below what you think. I'm intrigued to know. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please take care, subscribe for more. See you in the next ones.